Welcome to the 22-23 Heart of America Athletic Conference Men's Wrestling Media Day. I'm Cody Goodwin, sports writer for the Des Moines Register, and we're here joined by Benedictine College coach Gregory Barner and senior Michael Lucas. How you guys doing today?
Doing awesome. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Ready to really get into the thick of wrestling season. Especially up here. I'm based in Iowa, so there's all sorts of levels of wrestling out here. And I know you guys got to compete this weekend, right?
We did. So I'm from Iowa as well too. So wrestler at college. I actually coach at Simpson and Briarcliff too. So I'm an Iowa boy. But we were up at the Luther Hill invite in Indianola there. So got to see a lot of good competition there with like Grandview, Briarcliff. Simpson had some good guys. So great first tournament for us. Really challenging. Just some great opportunities to see what's working well and just where we need to improve upon.
I know some coaches wait to kind of offer an honest assessment on their guys until they actually hit the mat. What did you learn this weekend?
It's just continuing to build, continuing to grow here. Year one for me and myself and a lot of these guys too, these freshmen, it's, especially those freshman guys, they go out there and they're it's deer in headlights almost that first match a little bit. So they're trying to do a lot of different things. And, our whole message is, keep it simple, single legs, front heads, high seas, all that stuff that works at every level right there. Just keep it simple. I think the biggest thing was just, again, little things, making sure if you're doing a cutaway, elbow down and in, don't put your hands by your face if you're bellied out, giving up wrists, things like that. But also too, the guys fought really, really hard. I think we had a great effort, top to bottom of the lineup, great attitude. Guys went out there and it was the style of wrestling we're looking for, tough, smart, physical. So I'm really happy with that. It's just little things that, us as coaches can fix. I think the attitude, the effort, things like that we can't always instill in our athletes as much as we want to try, things that they're already have a part of them, we got that going. So some great stuff going on, things that we can fix as coaching staff though.
Absolutely. I know you mentioned the freshmen. In your experience, what's the hardest part about the transition from high school to college wrestling?
I think the hardest part is just those freshman guys. It's going from that high school level where it's nothing against high school level, but you're not always going to get studs every single time. You got some guys that they're just out there because they want to have fun, or they're really young. You might only be 15 years old and you're a senior and you're 18, so you got a lot more maturity on them. But then you get that college rank and you got kids that they've been wrestling for a long time. They wrestle year round. They were maybe a state place or two-time state place, or kids that are just studs all the time, and it's kind of hard to get that going there a little bit. And also just those little things too, not always trying to do the flow wrestling moves, the flying squirrels, super ducks, just keeping it simple, keeping it basic. So that's usually a big issue for us too. But we always try to address that, keep it simple, work on the fundamentals, blue collar stuff basically.
Absolutely. This is your first year as a head coach, correct?
First year here as a head coach, yes.
Yeah.
So I had a couple other stints as a head coach too. Two programs I started up out in Colorado, a JUCO program, and then another NAI school out in Michigan, actually. So third stint here though, but very, very excited about it.
Yeah. What experiences from those past stops do you feel like are going to help you or have already helped you, since you've been here?
Yeah, I think just one, the connections that we built already, especially out there in Colorado, we dealt with a lot of Kansas, Nebraska kids, obviously, being from Iowa too, coaching in Iowa, all the connections that we have there. Then now having more connections out in that East Coast really helps out with the recruiting process. Kansas, great state. I think wrestling's on the uprise here in Kansas, but still you got to look outside of Kansas if you want to be really competitive, especially in a tough conference like this. So I think that helps out a lot right there. But just having that experience as a head coach, just knowing what to deal with. You don't know everything. Obviously, there's always going to be new stuff popping up. But just the more experience you have, the better off you're going to be, though. So I think just being able to go off past experience as a head coach at other levels, JUCO and other NAI schools helps out a ton for us. But also just great support here for athletics and academics. So we're in a great environment right now.
Absolutely. Well, and having to look outside the state, easy transition into Michael, who is Alaska, right?
Yep,
that's right. Out of Alaska.
That's not a state that's very well known for wrestling, man. How'd you get involved in the sport?
Well, so my dad is the one that kind of got me into it. He was from East Coast, Ohio, and he wrestled all the way through middle school, high school. He had older brothers that went into D1 wrestling. So he just kind of grew up with it, and he kind of pushed me into it. So
Nice. What got you to stick around?
I don't know. I guess early success. He pushed me in. I think I was maybe second grade. So I've been doing it for over half my life now. And like I said, I've had a pretty successful career up in Alaska, and got to do some out of state wrestling as well, which was huge. We were in a position where he was able to help me wrestle outside of Alaska and get some, bigger experience outside of Alaska. So
100%. So then take me through the recruiting process, man. How do you go from Alaska to Kansas, Atchison, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was getting recruited by a couple Midwest schools. I don't really know how they kind of figured out my name. I was on some recruiting website or something. But there were a handful of schools looking at me, and one of the bigger things that got me here was that my sister, she got recruited for track and field also,
Okay.
Alaska. She ended up here. She was a couple years in front of me. But that was, I don't know, I guess that was kind of a big one. And, a good wrestling scholarship helped out too. So
Absolutely.
get my way through. So
You got
That's awesome.
that recruiting?
oh, well, okay. Back in when I was a senior in high school, he was my coach now. He was coaching at Simpson College, and he was actually trying to recruit me into Simpson College at the same time. And of course I didn't end up there, but
Smart man. He's good.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Normally, people who grow up outside the Midwest, and especially wrestlers, I love to ask them, could you have pinpointed Kansas or Iowa or Missouri on a map before you got out here? I think, because your sister got recruited, you probably could have done that. But before then, could you have mapped out the Midwest very well before you got out here?
shoot, yeah, probably not. Yeah, I don't know. All Midwest of the U.S. is all the same. It all seemed the same to me. So.
Bunch of flyover states, man.
Oh yeah, over them. Wasn't stopping in them.
Absolutely. What has the first? I guess you guys are a month into the season now, or a little over. What's it been like so far for you, Michael?
I think we're making good progress this year. The last couple of years we've had the same head coach, and especially the older guys in the room, we've kind of been in the same groove, kind of getting in the rut. We knew what we were expecting, and the practices were run kind of the same way. So this year, I think we're, at least for me, it's something new. As a senior, most seniors I don't think can say that, getting a new head coach and kind of getting everything turned around. But I think, we're looking really good mentally this year. I'm excited to see where the rest of the season takes us, but I'm feeling confident so far.
Good deal. One tournament in, where, as one of the older guys on the team, you guys have goals set out for the year, or where are you moving forward after, finally getting the chance to compete this past weekend?
Right. So I think our goals as the team, we're fairly, I guess we're pretty, I don't know. We've got a couple seniors, couple juniors. So, we're pretty up there. And we got a couple newer guys too. But I think our goal for the season, we want to be as good as we can at the end of the season. When we're coming up on conference, we want to be tip top shape, honing in on all our takedown setups and everything like that, conditioning. So, this first meet, it was good to kind of get out there, get some of the cobwebs off, see where we're at, see where we're standing against some of our competition. And, we'll build off of that. We got a little taste of, where we stand. So it's just building blocks.
What are
Absolutely.
what the team goals are?
Yeah.
What do we focus on?
So we got 3 positive goals. We focus on effort, attitude, and aggressiveness. And then
I like that.
We got 3 negative goals as well. No whining, no complaining, and no excuses.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's our team goals. That's what we always focus on what you can control. We don't want to focus on, all Americans, dual wins. Obviously we're competitive. We want that stuff, but stuff, you can't control. I'm a big Hawkeye fan. We were at D3 Nationals during 2020 at Cedar Rapids, actually about to wrestle 18 hours out, and COVID hits and everything shuts down. Same with the Iowa Hawkeyes. They don't, they have a chance to possibly be national champs that year after a 10-year drought. So, things like that you can't control. So we just want to focus on stuff that we always control: effort, attitude, being aggressive. So that's a big step for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So were you guys in the building, Coach, when Jason Bryant, I think he was calling D3, came over the intercom, was like, oh, I guess he would have been at D2s that year, but just to get that news.
We had just got done with practice, had the guys, we got there that morning, got our practice in. We were at the hotels. I was actually working out with one of our reserve guys that was with us. We were working out, getting a lift in, and the coach texted us like, hey, get over back to the hotel. And then that's when he broke the news to us. We were like 18 hours out from weigh-ins basically. So that was a tough one. I've always I've always wanted our guys to focus on things they can control, but it's just, I always go back to that image, to that moment, just when everything, that's an extreme moment, obviously, but that's why we don't want to focus on that kind of stuff, because you never know what's going to happen in life. You get injured, ref makes a bad call, things like that. You never know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I guess I asked you about that because, those big picture positive goals that you guys are talking about, that's a very real life example of like, hey, like this is what we need to do here in order to get through this, right?
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. You just come in every single day with a great attitude, great stuff can happen for you. If you're sitting in the corner whining and complaining, that's not going to do you any good. It's not doing the team any good. Just your effort, make sure you got a relentless effort. We always want that for our guys, whatever we're doing, academics, athletics, personal life. And just being aggressive too. We want guys out there looking live the scoreboard, being on the attack. Don't sit back and be passive. Go out there and score points, basically.
Absolutely. As I know, been a head coach before, but first year here at Benedictine, how much, I guess when you lean on, your past experiences as a head coach, what are some of the toughest things when it comes to, I know all head coaches talk about establishing a culture. What are the challenges to doing that now that you've, done it at a couple of different spots, and now you're, this is something you obviously want to establish here too?
Yeah, and that's been our whole focus ever since school started here, and ever since I got back here in May, and talking with these guys like Mike and the other seniors and juniors and sophomores, and reiterating that to all the freshmen that we recruit. We always talk about the culture we want. We want to create a challenging, competitive, supportive environment. Our whole goal is to help them grow and develop and become the strongest version of each student athlete on our team. So it's every day just reiterating that, talking about it. I mean, these guys know it by heart right now, what our culture is. The vision, mission, goals, style of wrestling. But also too, it's on me to help keep fostering that and growing it. But I can't just sit there and talk about it. I got to be about it. So I try to do as much as I can. Coming in the room, asking questions, doing little extra things for them that maybe they don't always see. Just really being devoted and invested in this program, and just knowing that, hey, it's going to take time for guys to really start to buy in and trust the system of what we're trying to do here. Like we're saying, drink the Kool-Aid. Just drink the Kool-Aid, everything will be all right. So that's a big thing for us. So, but I know we're heading in the right direction. We just got a great group of guys, great support here. So I think that culture, it's starting to take shape for us right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that was everything I needed from you guys, unless there was anything else you wanted to ask or say.
You got any hot takes there, Mike?
I don't think so. That's all.
So who do you got then? Who's your team? Are you a Hawkeye guy?
Who's my team? I'm actually a Missouri Tigers fan.
You're a Tigers fan. Okay.
I grew up in Kansas City, right there in the border war. That's kind of a border war battleground city. So I veered toward the black and gold.
Okay, I thought for some reason you're from Iowa though, so I got you. Cool.
I live in Des Moines and I cover wrestling in Iowa.
Okay,
so that's what a lot of the stuff I write about, and a lot of the stuff that I've got way too much knowledge on like Iowa State, UNI, the Iowa high school scene for the last decade or so. Like I can rattle off too many names, but
no, I've kept up to date with you. You've been doing a great job, man. I appreciate all the great work you do for wrestling and stuff. So had to get you back down here to Kansas City, take you Q39 or something.
Yeah, I was actually just down there this past weekend. We went to Arthur Bryant's before we went to the Chiefs game on Sunday. So.
Okay, cool. Dang, that was a good game too. That was an intense one right there.
That was ugly, man. But
it was a good win though. It was a good win. Good win for him.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one when it comes time for the playoff race. So
100%.
I'll take it.
All right. So, well, hey, appreciate your time. I don't think anything else on our end, right?
All good.
No. All right. Thank you so much, Cody. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Appreciate the time, guys. Thank you.
All right. Yep. We'll talk later.